Hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Yeah, that's good. Earlier this week, I decided to sit down and talk to some national final junior participants. Now, the reason I did that was because I wanted to find out, is Junior Eurovision actually cool now? Because as much as I love this contest, there is no doubt that there has been a few years where the contests just haven't been very cool, and a lot of us super fans, we've been scared if the contest would no longer be. But now we're getting close to the 20th edition of the contest, an absolute landmark for this contest, and honestly, it kind of feels like it's cooler than it's ever been. What's up everyone, welcome back here at the Neon Pavilion. My name is Niklas and I've been a Junior Eurovision fan basically ever since day one. I love this contest and I'm so excited for the contest this year in Yerevan in Armenia. I think it's going to be bigger than ever before. But as we're coming up to the 20th edition of the show, I thought it would be interesting to dig a little bit deeper into it because it hasn't been a smooth sailing for the contest ever since the beginning, and I think some people, myself included, wasn't sure that it was ever going to be making it to 20, but here we are with 16 countries participating, and honestly, I feel like the show is even cooler and even more popular than ever.
Well, I first heard about Junior Eurovision just last year because someone I knew was taking part in it, so that's when I first heard about it, yeah.
I was a toddler. I always watched it, and I used to sing Gaia Kauki's song, The Start, at my grandma's house. It was fun. I really liked the songs.
The first Junior Eurovision edition I watched. I think I sort of heard about Junior Eurovision in 2016. I think I watched it with my mom, sort of halfway. I just kind of found out about it on YouTube. And then 2017 was the first one that I actually started doing videos on and that I actually watched full through.
And what was kind of your first impression of it when you first started watching it, when you first found out about it?
For me, when I was watching Eurovision, I always thought wow, I always pretended that I was on Eurovision and that I was singing all the songs and stuff. I was sort of the age as most of the artists on there, so I thought that some of them were really cool and upbeat. I did find myself liking the more upbeat songs more, obviously, because I think as you get older, you start to appreciate, more of the ballads and stuff like that. But I just thought that it was really cool that, some of the songs I could relate to and I found myself listening outside of Junior Eurovision.
Now, I'm one of the older ones here, and I'm also in the country who actually created the Junior Eurovision. So I've watched ever since the very beginning. I watched the first show in 2003 and then just fell out of it from 2006 when Denmark didn't take part anymore. We gotta remember this was back in a time where watching shows online wasn't really a thing. It was only just getting started, so I didn't really have much of an opportunity. I could watch it on Swedish television, but I didn't really do that. So it wasn't actually up until 2010 that I kind of rediscovered the contest. I watched the contest on the Junior Eurovision website in 2010, and from there on, I've watched every single edition since. And I've definitely seen a shift in the contest. I remember when I first watched it, I was still very young, and the songs and the music in the Junior Eurovision was very similar to the kind of music I was also listening to outside of the contest. So it was really cool, and it felt like, even though I was a little young at the time, that I could relate to the participants. When I then got to 2010 and I started watching the contest again, I was growing up a little bit. I was still in that age range where I could participate in the contest, but I was definitely growing up, and I just felt like I was watching a different kind of contest than I was when this show originally was created. Back there in the early 2010s, there was a lot of speculation if the Junior Eurovision would survive. We had a bunch of years with 13, 12 participants, and it was a lot of different participants every year. You didn't have a lot of countries returning. So there was just a lot of uncertainty at the time about the Junior Eurovision, what it was going to be. But thankfully, I feel like we are out of that now. We've seen in recent years that the contest has grown bigger and bigger. There's been more countries actually being interested in taking part. We have a lot more of the big five taking part now. And in recent years, the number of participants has been anywhere between 15 to 20 participants, which has been amazing to see. The contest is opening up to new countries, new cultures, new languages, and a lot more kids all over Europe, Australia, and Kazakhstan have gotten the chance to participate in the show over the last couple of years. So what made you want to take part in the selection this year?
Junior Eurovision actually approached me, they phoned my mum. And so then I thought it would be a great opportunity to try something new and then show my style of singing and playing the harp together.
It was my wish to be in the Malta Junior Eurovision, and I always asked my mom to be in it. She said, let you grow up first. And finally she said yes, and I took part in it.
That's really cool. So I can imagine you've watched the show for many years and wished to be on that stage yourself.
Yes.
Yes, that's really cool. And how did your friends react when they found out that you were gonna be in the contest?
My friends, they put up daily reminders on their stories and their Instagram stories and everything to vote and follow my Instagram and Facebook page, and that was so nice of them. I just couldn't ask for better friends, to be honest, and my family have been the same.
Their face was frozen. They couldn't even say anything.
That's awesome. I imagine they were also really happy for you when you got a fantastic placing in the contest as well.
Yes.
Yes. The Junior Eurovision Song Contest is definitely closer than ever to what I would call a mini Eurovision. And I do feel like that was kind of the idea of the contest when it was first created. The Junior Eurovision was originally called the Eurovision Song Contest for Children, and it's very clear to see that from the beginning, the idea was to create a Eurovision that kids could relate to. Sure, the Eurovision is a family event that everyone can watch, but the Eurovision also deals with way more mature themes. There's a lot of different songs, there's a lot of different genres, there are statements, people want to, tell a story, and the stories may not necessarily be the same stories that kids want to tell. Kids have all sorts of interesting ideas about how the world should be, and they want to sing about this. They want to have this in their songs. So just simply saying Junior Eurovision should be junior, it should be a fun little songs for kids, I think that's actually very much underestimating what kids like and what kids are able to understand and what they want to convey with their songs. But I'm 25 years old. I know nothing about what the kids are into these days.
The music I sing is different to the music I listen to. Like I'd listen to pop music, but I'd sing more slow songs because I don't know, I think they suit me a bit better than like fast, upbeat. I
used to be into traditional Irish music, but as I grew older, I started listening to contemporary pop and like artists such as Taylor Swift and Little Mix and Harry Styles.
I like Lady Gaga's song Shallow, and I also like Megan Trainor's All About That Bass. All of her songs I like.
Okay, so you like pop music. That's like your favorite.
Yes.
As someone like me who grew up in the early 2000s where pop music was dominating the world, I'm pretty pleased with the fact that pop is coming back. And I think the fact that pop is coming back is also one of the reasons why we've actually seen Eurovision become more popular, more cool over the recent years. Songs like Snap, Arcade and Spaceman have been popular songs that have come out of Eurovision, and they've been that thanks to a little app called TikTok and just social media in general. But who's actually listening to songs like Arcade and Snap? That's right, it's the young people. Young people has for many, many years driven the music industry. Some might say they've always done so, but especially these days with social media, the young people of the world, of Europe, are really influencing the music scene. So obviously it makes sense that for a Junior Eurovision to become even more popular, well, shouldn't you try to do the same? Shouldn't you try to create commercial hits and songs that are a success? There are definitely countries that have tried in recent years, which has been so interesting to see. When Roxana Vigel won with Anyone I Want to Be in 2018, that song became a massive commercial success in Poland, peaking at number 4 on the Polish charts, and it is currently certified platinum. To put that a little bit into perspective, the previous song to actually have any sort of chart success that has been related to the Junior Eurovision, that's Maria Isabel back in 2004. Anyone I Want to Be wasn't written for Junior Eurovision. It was written for a big artist and bought by Universal and the Polish broadcaster to take part in this contest. Roxana isn't the only example. I mean, look at someone like Kala and Bim Bam Twa that took part in 2019. That song became a huge hit on TikTok, becoming a viral dance challenge.
Last year, obviously, Armenia, Malena with Kami Kami was like amazing, you know? I could hear it outside of Junior Eurovision. Like I could see myself listening to it, even if I didn't know what Junior Eurovision was. Like it was just something that I think that my peers would listen to. I think that Armenia this year again is a great song, you know? And I think UK this year as well is very like, it would be very modern, very trendy. Just Poland over the years, like 2018, 2019.
I can't think of her name. I think she's from Poland. I think it was Superheroes. That was the song.
Yes.
Loved that song. Still listen to it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that, with the combination of the online vote, giving more power to the viewers, to the fans, just means that I feel like we're now into that third stage of the Junior Eurovision. To win the contest now, you need success on social media, because you need to drive that engagement to get the online vote. Some love that, some hate that, but there's definitely countries who are absolutely taking advantage of it. And whether or not you like the online voting format, I think it is a win-win for most of us, because I think the quality of songs have improved over recent years. And with that, I do actually think that Junior Eurovision is becoming more popular. Would you say that Junior Eurovision is popular among you and your friends? Do you know a lot of people who watches the competition?
Yes, my friends, singers that come with me, children that come to piano with me, even teachers.
I think it has gotten more popular because people are kind of only hearing about it now, because I think more and more people are looking to take part, so it's kind of gotten more popular than it was before. Like the girl who's representing Ireland this year, Sophie Lennon, her song is very popular now. It's a really good song, very popular in Ireland. Like a lot of people would know it.
Some countries have seen the success that Poland has gotten with their 2 winning entries, and all of a sudden we're seeing all these kinds of songs that doesn't sound like the typical Junior Eurovision entries, but actually sound commercial, sound cool, and most importantly, sounds like something kids want to listen to. And I think it has changed the contest. I think the countries that are able to do this very well, all of a sudden, they are becoming big players in the game. Kids are watching the contest. TVP, for example, did a whole lot of promotion for the Junior Eurovision when they hosted for the first time in 2019, and it really shows. Countries are more and more embracing the Junior Eurovision, I feel like, and it is actually becoming that mini Eurovision now. The production value has gone up thanks to more countries participating and more countries wanting to host. I've already mentioned that the song quality has gone up, and all of a sudden, I feel like the Junior Eurovision is cool again. It's so much more interesting to follow this contest. But with every good thing, of course, comes a bit of a backside. Should the contest be a mini Eurovision?
I think that's definitely an issue. I know in a lot of my reviews I've actually touched up on it, and I'd say, oh, maybe this isn't the junior enough. There isn't a junior factor for this. I think it's hard, but somehow you have to find a balance. Like maybe if you have I'll just say UK for an example. You know, it's a trendy song. The lyrics I'm a little on the fence about, because, you know, her main chorus is oh, I lose my head over you. And in my review, actually, I said something about it being oh, I don't know how many kids that are her age can really relate to losing their head over someone like a crush or a love interest. I just don't think that's on our minds. But then there's someone in my comments saying that it's about friendship instead. So, you know, you just have to, I think that if you have a trendy song with a trendy beat, maybe just lay low on the lyrics a bit, make them kind of relatable, make them like not too deep. I think that Junior Eurovision, you know, everyone's just focusing on representing their country, you know, showing off their language. Like, I think it's just more beautiful that way. Like, I love listening to songs in different languages and just hearing how they sound. Like, I think it just makes more of a pure contest, and it's a competition, you know, about something completely different than just trying to make a hit, like you said.
I guess the big question is, and it's a big question, so it's fair if you don't really have a full answer, but like, should Junior Eurovision be commercial? There's no doubt that people want Eurovision and the songs there to be more commercial because it drives viewership, gets more people involved. But do you think Junior Eurovision should be allowed to be commercial and to actually have songs in there that could go on to be on the radio?
I think that is a very good question. I think that there's no right or wrong answer. There could be valid points for each one. I think that, you know, the main focus of artists and their teams should not be to go commercial. I think they should just focus on having something like the artists represent their countries with a song that's authentic to them, that they can relate to. Maybe they helped write and produce maybe, and just a song that, you know, they would listen to themselves and that they would enjoy. They shouldn't focus on going commercial or being like, oh, is this gonna be trendy on TikTok or whatever. That would be a plus, but I don't think that's, you know, they should not focus on being commercial, but if it happens, you know, it will be good.
Maybe Korina is right. Maybe we still need to find that balance. As the songs are getting more and more cool, as I like to call it, it's also taken us further and further away from the original idea of the contest, where kids were actually involved in the writing process. You know, it really hit me when I sat there doing those interviews with the kids and I asked them, what kinds of things would you like to change? And one of the answers I got was, very surprisingly, that they wanted live instruments to be a part of the Junior Eurovision. And the more I think about it, the more I get it, right? Because as a kid, you want to get on that stage because you're excited to share your talent with the world. You want to meet other children who have the same interests as you. And of course, if you play an instrument, you want to be able to play that instrument on stage as well. If you love songwriting, you want to take part in the songwriting process. You want to have one of your songs on stage. And I think we should still allow that. While I absolutely think that it's cool that we are getting more songs now that are even more something that I feel like juniors would actually listen to, I do kind of miss the old days where kids would actually be involved with the writing. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still countries who do this. The girl from Albania, she helped write the song for this year's contest, and we do still see it from time to time that kids are involved. So maybe there is still a way to go before we find that balance. One thing that I definitely feel like is true is no matter if you look at the old contest, the 2010s or now, one thing that's for sure is that the kids that I'd spoken to who have previously taken part in the national final, I feel like they hold so much pride and joy for the fact that they got to take part in a national television show. They got to sing and show off their talents, and they had so much fun doing it. And we gotta remember that that's the most important part here.
It was definitely one of the best experiences that I've had, and being able to go up to the studio and recording and learning the songs, meeting new people. Like, I definitely do it all again if I could.
And I had really fun. I had a really nice experience.
Do you think we get to see you again in Malta Junior Eurovision? Do you want to participate again and maybe win someday?
Yes, even though if I don't win, it's okay. I still compete.
Yes, it's all about just having fun and meeting all the other participants, right?
Exactly.
Well, it was nerve-wracking, but it was also really exciting. But I was in two TV shows already, so I kind of got the hang of it. And it wasn't as nerve-wracking as like the other ones, but it was still a great experience and I loved it.
Most of us making videos on the Junior Eurovision, we are adults, and of course we want adult songs that we think are cool to listen to. But at the end of the day, that's not really why the contest was created. The contest was created as a fun program, both for children performing, but also for the children watching. As we're standing here looking forward to the 20th edition of the Junior Eurovision, I definitely think that the contest is stronger than ever. More and more kids all over Europe are tuning in. The songs are getting better quality and broadcasters are taking the kids seriously. there are still things that can be done. There are still things that can be tweaked. I love both what a country like France is doing, making very fun, kid-friendly songs. I love what Poland and Armenia have been doing, sending singers who are singing something that we feel like they truly believe in, something that sounds like something they would sing. But I also love these super fun songs from some of the younger participants who just have a blast on that stage. All of these kids, all of these kinds of songs are worthy, are valuable, and I do truly believe that we're getting closer than ever to finding that perfect balance between a commercial TV show and a fun junior program. I'm really excited that here 20 years into the future, the contest is still going on. We had some rough years, but the Junior Eurovision is still here, and I love this contest so much, and the only thing I wish for the contest is to grow bigger while still retaining its values, still being a fun show, both for the kids performing, but also for the kids watching. And I can't wait to see what the contest will bring in the future. Now, those are just my thoughts. What do you think? I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Before I go, I just want to give a massive shout out to the kids who wanted to take part in this video. It's always so much fun speaking to these young performers. They have so much interesting to say, I feel like, and I just think that's one of my favorite parts about, having a channel like this, talking about Eurovision and Junior Eurovision. If you haven't watched any of their national final performances, definitely be sure to do so. I'll link some down in the description below. And of course, also a massive shout out to Korina for wanting to take part in this video. If you haven't checked out her Eurovision reactions yet, I definitely think you should. They are 100% worth a watch, and I will also leave a link to her channel down in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more Neon Pavilion in the future, and I'll hopefully see you guys very soon.